Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. I'm Will Hubner here with Mark Mashashik. Big stuff to talk about. We got the Combine.
Sports are getting flown again. We said that we had that lull. Now we got March Madness around the corner. Combine's heating up to the NFL draft. NBA's getting fun. It's exciting. Sports is back. It's locked and
Very
loaded.
exciting. Spring training too. You mentioned that.
Spring training, yes.
All right, so let's get started with, to me, what's still the most important thing right now. It's March Madness.
Sure.
So let's go over NCAA update.
Yep.
Big weekend of basketball, but didn't really change much in terms of the one seeds.
Who'd you watch?
So I saw TCU upset Baylor.
Yeah, that's huge.
That was a big one.
I think that's a little bit of dagger for Baylor. I know they're still going to be. It's not good to lose momentum at this time of the year.
Yeah, well, they stayed a number one seed. They're still actually the third number one seed right now. Along with, so they got Kansas, Baylor, Gonzaga, San Diego State are the 4 1 seeds. If anybody's going to come off of there right now, I think it's going to be San Diego. Their last game, but they were able to win.
How do you feel about those 4-1 seeds? Give me your opinions of are these the 4 Final Four teams? They have it right.
No, I do not think
Who do you feel like is too weak to be up there?
I mean, just based on the overall schedule, I think they're where they should be. I don't see San Diego State going very far in the tournament.
I'm with you.
I'm also not sold on Gonzaga yet. And then we just saw Baylor lose to a TCU team that's not very good. So
I think it's all momentum based. You're losing games at the wrong time. I think Kansas is the best team in the country right now, though. If they can stay healthy, they're gonna do damage.
Well, we're also going to see Kansas Big 12 championship game, so we get to see it one more time.
That'll be exciting.
So if Baylor wins out, but they lose to Kansas in the championship game, I still see them as a 1 seed.
That's fine. I think it's a fun. I think it's going to be a big upset year. I think that's just more fun to watch.
If we go to the 2 seeds, though, that's where it starts getting interesting. So you got Dayton, the best number 2 seed. Then you got Maryland in the Midwest. Seton Hall,
where did they come from?
Rising up the ladder. They're doing well. And then Florida State, now the number 2 in the West, overtook Duke, who's lost a couple.
Yeah, Florida State looks really good.
Florida State. I'm not sold on anybody in the ACC this year.
Yeah, so give me from the 2 seeds. Who do you like to make the Elite Eight? You think these teams make the Elite Eight? Dayton?
I think there's two teams that have a chance in the number 2 seeds to make a big run. I think that's Maryland and Seton Hall.
What's the strength? I know Maryland's obvious, but what do you see in Seton Hall?
Seton Hall has really good guards. Seton Hall is also just a tough team. So Miles Powell, he's one of those guys that I think will be a household name by the end of the March Madness. He had a big March Madness last year, but he's a guy that can just score the ball.
Okay.
And they're a tough team. I was able to watch them. They played Maryland earlier in the year, actually without Miles Powell, and they still beat Maryland. They're a very tough-minded team.
That's impressive.
And now that they're getting healthy, they're starting to make a run at it.
Okay.
But let's talk about Dayton. So everybody's talking about Dayton. We already got a comment over
comments
here.
About Dayton.
Dayton should be in the top 3.
Dayton
You're an A10 guy.
Dayton can play. Obi Toppin's good, man. Obi Toppin might be the best college player in the country right now.
So what is your reasoning objectively as to why Dayton should be a number 1 seed or number 2 seed?
I mean, name the teams behind him that should be over him is all I'm saying. I mean, they've lost 2 games this year. One of them was to the number 1 seed. I mean, the number 1 team in the country in Kansas.
Yep.
They just roll on teams. They're just good.
Their best game was a loss, an overtime loss to Kansas.
They beat Rhode Island.
A bubble team.
They beat Richmond.
A bubble team.
What do you want? The A-10's not that good. Who's San Diego State beat?
Well, let's go through Baylor, right? So if they were going to overtake a team, Baylor just lost. Some people think Dayton should be in over Baylor.
Okay.
So Baylor, they lost to Washington, second game of the year. That's a bad loss.
That's a bad loss.
They beat Villanova. They beat Butler, all ranked teams. They beat Kansas. Beat West Virginia. Lost to Kansas, and then just lost to TCU. I just think the amount of quality wins they have.
You're selling me on that, but that loss to TCU is worse than any loss that Dayton has.
That is a big loss. I think one more. So they have Versus Texas Tech, I think they'll win that one at home. And then they have to finish with that game.
It's never easy to go into West Virginia.
So Baylor could easily slip out of a 1 seed.
I think that's a stronger resume than Dayton at this time. But that's the hardest thing with these teams. It's looking at the teams that just don't play strong schedules. How good are they really? How good is Dayton? How good is San Diego State? How good is Gonzaga?
Right. So San Diego State's kind of in that same boat. So they have one loss. It was to UNLV. It was actually last week.
Okay.
And that was a huge loss. But if we go to their wins that they've had, so they won at BYU. It's a decent win. They crushed Creighton. I think that's their claim to fame. So they beat Creighton by 31 points.
Jeez.
They beat Iowa. It's been a ranked team. I think they're ranked now, actually.
Creighton's ranked
by 10 points.
Creighton's 11 now.
Yeah. Iowa's up there. They just had a big win this
Iowa's
weekend.
18. Yeah, these are some better wins.
So they have some quality wins there. Hang their hat on.
Sure.
The one loss to UNLV hurts. They have their conference tournament starts this week.
I'd say going undefeated is difficult. Any team with 1 or 2 losses is going to be up there.
Yeah. But should be interesting. It's getting exciting. This is for most major conferences. This is the last week of the regular season, and then next week we'll see all the championship games.
Any sleeper championship winners? Maryland's going to wrap the Big Ten up, no problem?
No, Maryland's in a little bit of a bind right now.
Where's that?
So they've got 4 teams right now that are only 1 game back, and Maryland still has 2 difficult games. They got to go at Rutgers tomorrow, and then they finish up at home versus Michigan. 2 tough games. Rutgers really needs to win. So they may not even win the Big Ten. And then I think if there's a team that's hot right now, Michigan State looks really good. Michigan looks really good. So anybody can kind of win the Big Ten.
Minnesota's getting hot.
Minnesota's going to struggle a little bit. They're playing well, but they're not getting any wins.
Okay.
How about UMass have a chance to do anything?
Nope, they won't make it, but it's been a great season. We're going to do a little damage in the A-10 tournament, I think.
Trey Mitchell transfers.
Love with this dude. He's going to win A-10 Freshman of the Year.
Okay.
No, he'll be there next year.
All right. Cool. Well, let's go on to the Combine. I know you're super excited about the Combine.
Oh, this the real start of the NFL draft process. We get to evaluate all these excellent young players and see what we got. And the Combine is where we get to really put numbers on things. So you can say a guy's fast, but is he track fast?
Okay. Well, overall thoughts, who impressed you?
Isaiah Simmons blew the roof off my doors. Blew the roof off my doors.
Defensive guy from Clemson.
Plays defense, and that's his thing right now. Is we sort of see some of these NFL teams get these guys that can do so many things. Derwin James is the comparison to Isaiah Simmons. Derwin James is a safety, came out of Florida State, and he can rush the passer. He can get down in line of scrimmage. He can help cover the slot. So basically, I mean, it's a guy that can play defensive end, all linebacker positions, easily play safety, and even play a little bit of corner. Coming in, knowing that he was so versatile and watching how good of a player he was being pegged as sort of a top 10 pick. But then for him to blow past what was expected with the Combine really raises him up the board. He ran a 4.39 at, I want to say, 237 pounds. It was very impressive.
So in terms of a guy like that can play 3 or 4 different positions.
Yeah.
You think of baseball as you want utility men, right? Guys that can play infield, outfield, do it all. In football, you don't really see too often people changing positions on each down. The people tend to be very focused on one position.
I seriously think we're going to see a change in the NFL in that. I really do. I think you're going to see more guys who can do more things. That's what coaches want. You want to be able to adapt to personnel. We've seen offenses over the past couple of years. You've seen sort of this joker tight end position come, and now we're seeing a lot of receivers being used in the running game the way the 49ers used Deebo Samuel this year. I think you're seeing these offensive positions are guys that, they can play tight end, they can play receiver, they can move to running back. Because of the versatility in that, a really good example is Laviska Shenault Jr. is coming out of Colorado this year. He can literally play running back, tight end, and receiver. You're going to see defenses finding pieces that can cover all of those things as well.
So do you think there's going to be a shift in, like, the big thing before was Lamar Jackson saying, I'm a quarterback, right?
Yep.
Tim Tebow saying I'm a quarterback, even if I have to go play.
Hurts said at the Combine.
So
they wanted him to work out as a receiver.
A lot of players feel like they have their one true position and they're not willing to make the change. Do you think that mindset that players have is going to change as well?
No, quarterback's a different animal altogether. When they asked Isaiah Simmons what position he wanted to play in the NFL, and his answer was defense. He said his exact quote was, "I have just as much fun making an interception as I do sacking the quarterback." And I just think that's what you want. You want the versatility that you can put him anywhere on defense. You don't when you have to sub these packages, it's very difficult that you have to have two guys to do two different things. He can literally cover the tight end easily, cover slot receivers, and come up and run stuff. It's just rush the quarterback. I mean, he can really do everything. So for me, he's probably the biggest riser from the combine. We think about, does the combine really matter? It's really what it's about on tape. And I think it does matter when you're looking at, when two guys are close together, which one would you rather take? Well, take the guy who's going to run the 4.39 over the guy who's going to run the 4.51 if it's already that close, if it's off the tape. In this draft, we've got a lot of offensive tackle talent. And I would say coming into the combine, a lot of them, Andrew Thomas, Tristan Wirfs, Jared Wills, a lot of them are sort of kind of in the same pack. You could say, well, I like them all. I'll trade down and draft one at a lower position, try to pick up some things. But then you see Tristan Wirfs come out and, blow up this combine. You say, well, this is a player that maybe I am going to put a step over Jared Wills. And saying that the tape is very similar. They're very close on tape. But to see a guy 320 pounds, what he went 4.5 and a 36.5-inch vertical?
Yep. So for a guy like Tristan Wirfs, so 6'5", 320-pound offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So when you think of offensive linemen, you don't think of them needing to run 40 yards by any means, right?
They don't.
It's really about quickness and kind of how quick can you get that
explosiveness
and block them.
For something like the 40-yard dash, what we're looking is their 10-yard split. How fast they can move 10 yards basically is telling you how fast they can get up off the ground.
So we're talking about their first 10 yards.
First 10 yards of the 40. We want to know, is that fast? But it still transcends. If you can, people who get good starts are going to run better 40 times. So the 40 does tell you something a little about explosiveness. So this tells me that this is a very explosive player. The other thing that's really important is bend. They have to be able to bend. We don't have a great measure for bend at the combine. I would say that's Wirf's only knock right now. Does he have the bend to consistently play left tackle in the NFL? He's a very safe pick in that I think if he isn't a left tackle, he's fitting great at right tackle or any of the interior positions. But his upside is being a Pro Bowl left tackle too. So it's a safe pick, and it's going to be an exciting player to watch develop.
But he's going potentially on the boards at number 4 overall right now.
That's since the combine. He was consistently a mid to late first round pick until this weekend.
But if you're drafting an offensive lineman with your 4th pick,
yep,
I would
with your first pick in the 4th pick in the round.
Correct. Yes, you should be expecting Pro Bowl type production out of an offensive tackle.
I would agree.
That's tough.
You get hits and miss. Look at Brandon Scherf for the Redskins. He was drafted 5th overall out of the same school as Wirfs. And even as a rookie, they kicked him inside to guard. He's one of the best guards in the league now. But yeah, not playing elite tackle. I don't know if they regret that or not. I mean, I didn't think it was a great pick at the time, but they have a Pro Bowl guard now.
Yeah. Well, how much goes into if you're thinking about drafting a player? Most fans don't get excited about an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
you got a 4th pick.
Yeah, you get excited about a quarterback, and the most important thing in the NFL is the quarterback. And the second most important thing in the NFL is probably hitting the quarterback. So you see defensive linemen getting paid a lot. And the third most important thing is trying to protect the quarterback, particularly if you can't move well. So if you're drafting Tristan Wirfs and you're the New York Giants, you're excited that this is a guy that's going to give Daniel Jones the time to make you win football games.
So if we're looking at his vertical is 36.5 inches. This is from a 6'5", 320-pound man.
Yeah.
That's a higher vert than DeAndre Hopkins,
who is 125 pounds lighter than him.
Jared Judy.
Yep, in this he'll be the top receiver in this class.
So if we're talking about like how important is a vertical leap for an offensive lineman, in my head it's saying that doesn't seem important. Maybe it's a test of leg strength.
It really shows me just an ability to explode as well. Just that explosive, violent burst when they come out of their stance and they smack a defensive end on their butt. It tells me that he has a level of explosion. Yeah. I'm not knocking a lot of offensive linemen if their vertical isn't great. I don't think it's the most important thing in the world, but it does show me that he has a level of athleticism that is very explosive to move 320 pounds, 36.5 inches off the ground.
And I think that's cool. I think that's what we're really starting to see. And we've been seeing it's been trending this way for years and years. but everybody in the combine seems to be just overall more athletic. Like we talked about quarterbacks.
Right. Well, I mean, I think 20 years ago, people would just go to the combine and show what you got. Now, as soon as the season ends, the guys are training for the combine. You look at Joe Burrow and you see that he didn't work out at the combine. I really think Burrow's a competitive enough guy where he wanted to work out. He didn't work out because his managers are advising him, Joe, you haven't had enough time. All these people have been training, and you've been preparing for the national championship. That means everyone else has been training for the combine a month longer. So he'll do his workout at his pro day now that he's had some time to train for it. But yeah, I think we're seeing better ones because I think the trainers are getting better at doing it. The players are taking it more seriously. You could say 40 time doesn't affect your draft status. I tell you, you're wrong. They go up. And I'm not saying that's always a good thing. I'm saying NFL teams shouldn't always be listening to 40 time. Guys who run under 4.3 consistently are busts in the NFL. Which brings us to another player who
Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs went 4.27. We all knew he was going to fly. I talked a lot about Jalen Reagor podcast, and I thought he was going to get close to that time, and he actually fell off. He ran a 4.41, I think, which I think is a disappointing time for him. We'll see a better one in his pro day. But Ruggs is flying, and he's a football player. He can actually play football. It's not just a track guy. He's going to be some defenses for you. He's Marquise Brown, Will Fuller, a guy who's just going to really open up things underneath for guys. That doesn't mean he's going to have the best numbers in the world. I mean, you're hoping for a Deshaun Jackson type of career out of him. But Deshaun Jackson did a lot of things for offenses that didn't come out in his numbers.
So would you say that sub 4.3 40-yard dash wide receivers tend to be very injury prone? Marquise Brown, injured. John Ross, injured.
Okay.
Who's the other guy you just mentioned?
Marquise Goodwin was another track guy that ran under 4.3, also always injured. I would say
Will
this.
Fuller.
Yeah, you're making a good point. Some other guys that busted, not always. Darius Hayward-Bay, I don't remember a long history of injuries. I would say track guys, meaning literally they are track athletes and football players, definitely seem to get more soft tissue injuries. I know Browns wasn't, but guys who they're competing for the Olympics and trying to play in the NFL, I see a ton of hamstrings, quads.
Why do you think that is?
Oh, I don't know. It's definitely a thing. Higher levels of speed, harder control, motor control for proper hamstring symmetry while firing, and maybe one head's getting pulled on.
It's just like more cutting in a sport like football as opposed to just running straightaways or running in a.
Well, I think they get hurt. I think track guys get hurt too. It's just maybe there's a threshold. We should do a study. Is there a threshold of running so fast that it's very hard to not prevent injury?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we made a big deal about this last year when it was DK Metcalf was the guy that everybody was really high on.
Yeah. And
he ran, I think, the fastest. There was one player that was a little bit faster than him, Paris Campbell.
Paris Campbell ran 4.31.
And Metcalf ran a 4.33.
Yes.
Metcalf's
about 50 pounds heavier than him.
You were big on saying that DK Metcalf, not as good of a route runner as some of the other guys. A.J. Brown was the guy you were really high on.
Well, A.J. Brown was his teammate and outperformed him in college. So usually when that happens, you'll see them outperform in the NFL.
But had still a good combine, but nowhere near the effect that DK Metcalf had.
Right.
But a guy like
well, you look at Metcalf and you look at what you're asking him to do in the NFL, and the Seahawks utilize him perfectly. They ask him to run down the field and catch the ball, and he was very effective at doing that. But that's what the combine showed. The combine didn't show.
But it shows. So if you're going strictly based on combine, you're going to take DK Metcalf over A.J. Brown, which is what happened. But A.J. Brown actually had a better season, and I think a lot of experts think he's going to have a better career.
But what you see in the football field translates to the combine. So the combine numbers translated to the football field in this situation. Brown runs what he ran, 4.41. Faster out there. Brown is much faster in and out of cuts. You see that his three-cone drill is faster. I think it shows you just have to interpret it in a way that is useful to you. Fastest 40 is not everything you do in as a receiver. It's literally only one thing that you do. And a lot of receivers don't even do that. So you're going to know what you're looking for.
What do you think? So like you're saying, as soon as the college football season ends, everybody's starting to work out with Exos and kind of just focusing on these particular combine
They're teaching them to run the 40, yes.
Right?
Yes.
That itself is not football. You're
Correct.
teaching them
yes
for football.
I would agree. And that's why when your combine doesn't matter, you don't do that. The guys we didn't see work out who said, I'll let my tape answer for all of this. Chase Young didn't work out. No injury. Think he knows he's going to be a top 3 pick already. Doesn't have to show.
So how much does a combine matter? Obviously, that's the way that the system is working. You look at these numbers, and that makes you tend to focus on people more than others. Translate to an actual.
Yeah, I would say it does. When I see 4.39 from Isaiah Simmons, I'm going to take 5 linebacker.
What about when you see a guy like Tom Brady?
Well,
become the greatest of all time, and he's not even drafted.
I don't remember Brady's numbers, but for the position of quarterback, particularly at the time when he was playing, maybe you're getting a Wonderlic that can be helpful. Quarterbacks who score extremely low on the Wonderlic have historically not played well, but the best quarterbacks usually have kind of a one of the middle Wonderlic score.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would translate to positions where you have to move very quickly. I would say it translates more. Explosive positions.
And I think in general that just like we've been talking about, the quarterback position itself is changing. You now have to be a mobile quarterback.
I would say, yeah. I think you
so
do.
If you look at the 40s for the quarterbacks coming out, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone. I mean, the worst time was from Jake Fromm at 5.01. That's still pretty fast.
Yeah, for a quarterback, it's not great. You had Eason at 4.89. He's probably the most. Eason's slower than Fromm. I do. I know it doesn't show in the 40s, but
you guys like
no. If I'm taking a quarterback in this NFL right now, I really do. The 40 doesn't show this perfectly, but you really want someone who can slide. But you'd still like to see 40 times in under 4.8s.
So you're Jalen Hurts at 4.59, right? Considered very fast quarterback.
Yeah.
You got Justin Herbert, much bigger, 6'6". 6'6" and 2.8, 236 pounds, running a 4.68.
Yeah, I think that's a really good time for him. I think that's going to do him well. I think people see that and they say, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes ran a 4.78. Is this a Patrick Mahomes type guy?" That's what they're looking for. Jordan Love ran a fast time. He's probably the most comparable size and the way he moves. What do you run? 4.74.
4.74.
That his times look like Mahomes. Now I'll tell you, I looked at film on Love, and he makes a lot of bad decisions that Mahomes doesn't. But his times and his size look like Mahomes. Jordan Love, who could move up to a first-round pick.
How about Cole McDonald, 4.58, quarterback out of Hawaii?
Yeah, I don't.
One of the winners from the quarterback.
I haven't thought of Cole McDonald yet. Don't have high hopes on him.
Quarterback losers from this Tua, right?
Why would he be a loser?
Well, he chose not to run. Shows something still going on with him.
Oh no! He can't. He can't run yet.
Not clear.
Right, but I would say I would consider him a winner in that the rumors on the medicals are good right now. Which brings us to some of these Redskin rumors. Is it's been Chase Young pegged in all along, and we're hearing rumors that maybe Tua.
What do you think?
I think maybe smoke and mirrors. They're hoping maybe Miami hears this and they really want Tua, and they'll like trade up for the Redskins to get Tua, and then the Skins can still get a great player at 5 and maybe steal a first-round pick. That's what I think it is. What we said 10 minutes ago, most important position in the game is the quarterback. You got to have the right one. So I can make an argument. Yeah, you have Haskins. Yeah, you have Tua. Okay, take Tua, and then whoever wins the job, trade the other one and just hedge the bets. But then I look at Chase Young and I think this is a potential generational player, and I would go with the generational player over the injury-prone, if we can call him that, quarterback. I wouldn't do it, but I'm sort of excited to be in Washington if they do it. I think it'll be exciting to see. But we said there's a lot of these risers, so if you could trade back to 5, I said Chase Young was clear and above the best player in this draft. Derek Brown, defensive tackle from Auburn, has moved closer to him, and Isaiah Simmons, who we've already talked about, has moved closer to him. So if I'm at 2 and I can get a lot to move down to 5, I wouldn't be too scared to take one of those players if I get them at 5 and pick up some extra draft capital.
Yeah, I think the Redskins would be crazy to take Tua.
I think it's all about the quarterback. I don't think it's crazy, but I wouldn't do it. If they don't take Tua, do you think he falls to the Dolphins?
I don't know. I don't trust him. I mean, I think you got to give a guy like Haskins a chance, right? Like, he's only played like 7 or 8 starts. He's playing in a dysfunctional state of Washington. The Redskins are not great at developing players. And I think he showed signs of life late in the year last year.
Okay. I don't know.
How can you say Haskins is not your guy? Like, this was your guy. He was going to kind of grow behind Alex Smith.
Yeah, but no, it's all new management now, though. It's Ron Rivera's show. It's not his guy. It's Jay Gruden's guy.
But
actually, Gruden didn't want him either.
But you still got a top quarterback, a guy that has still a ton of potential, and you're just shoving that aside for a guy that's coming off a major hip injury.
I would say if there was no injury concerns.
If there's no injury concerns, it changes things.
I know, but then I would say I think Tua is a better prospect than Haskins, and I think it's a better future. I would take Tua if there was no injury concerns.
But we've been saying this all along. It's all about Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields.
Yeah, but I keep
give Haskins a year to see if he's your guy or not. Get Chase Young, and then if he's not your guy, chances are you're going to stink again. Have a top pick. Go after one of your I would go after Justin Fields.
I can't argue. Well, the only argument I can make against that is if we were saying this exact same thing last year, we'd be like, stink this year and get Tua next year. And now we're saying it this year. We're saying, well, we don't want Tua. Stink.
But remember, the quarterbacks from the line find out.
Right, but I'm saying if you waited for Tua, you would again be saying we're going to wait again next year. How do we know that Justin Fields doesn't separate his shoulder, plays through it, has some bad games, then sits, or like, is he really that good? Trevor Lawrence gets a DUI, and now all of a sudden he's got off the field concerns or something comes up. It changes in a year.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't think quarterback's the biggest need for the Redskins. You think it is?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't think you're upgrading enough there. I would take Chase Young.
Yeah.
But I'm not against the other. You got to get a quarterback. Hopefully it is Haskins.
Yeah, we'll see.
You don't want to miss on this one.
All right, let's go to NBA.
Yes.
It's over. The Los Angeles Clippers have won. They're incredible, Mark. Unbelievable. This may be the greatest lineup of all time.
Explain it.
Just depth-wise.
Give it to me. All right.
So you're going to start out with Kawhi Leonard, arguably the best player in the NBA right now.
When he turns it on, you could because he so when playoff comes, he tends to turn it on.
And then you got Paul George, top 10 player.
I agree.
So you got arguably the best player, and then you got a top 10 player. That alone in itself leads to a playoff team contender,
right?
For
sure.
But then you got guys like Patrick Beverley, very underrated point guard, plays defense.
I love Patrick.
He's the 3.
He's nasty. I love defenders who can just be a little nasty.
They got Marcus Morris now. Offensively, the better one of the Morris twins.
Sure. I said before, the ball stopper, though. Too many ball stoppers on this team.
He's not getting that many minutes. And then you got Zubac.
That's a problem.
It's not a problem, Mark. So you got a big body, somewhat skilled. He's probably not your best player on the team. Okay?
What do you think his 40 time is?
All right. But now check this out. Their next 4 guys off the bench, Mark. Lou Williams, classic 6-man of the year, right? Gets it every single.
When you win 6-man more than twice, you should be a starter by now.
He averages this season 19.2 points per game.
He's clearly like one of the best 5 players on the team. They just want to give him the award?
All right. After that, you got Montrezl Harrell.
Okay.
Averaging 83 points per game.
Montrez can play.
He's a beast.
He's not a good – man, you don't have
What's
any –
he not good at?
I feel like he is the second best bigger man on the team.
He's the best big man on the team.
Yeah, but he's not a big man.
Probably not a 5. But he's blocking shots. He's running the court. He's a really good player. So now you got 2 guys. So Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell probably fighting for 6-man of the year award right now.
Yeah.
Then you got Landry Shamet, 3-point shooter that's just solid, can do it all.
Yeah.
And then another 13.5 points off the bench.
It's pretty good.
Do you see this much offense, Mark? You've got 37, 47, 60 points coming off your bench.
Well, that's because Paul George and Kawhi don't play during the season.
Mark, that's 60 points. There's probably another 60 between Paul George and Kawhi on themselves.
I know,
But
but
you have 120 points with solid
trust me.
defensive.
Yeah, but when the playoffs come, none of those bench guys are going to be scoring any points.
No, Mark, here's the biggest reason why this team is so good,
Mm-hmm.
right? They've got all the talent. There's no question about that. Toughness, right? This team is tough.
I like the
You're not going to get under his skin. He's going to make clutch baskets. He's going to do whatever you need. Beverly is going to show up. He's going to be physical.
You're making a point to me thinking about how weak Zubac is on this team, the big weak link. The Rockets traded Clint Capella and got better. Are big men just not success? Like, is it just are we going to go towards small ball teams?
Depends what you need. I mean, there's not that many. Like when DeAndre Ayton went number 1 overall,
Yeah.
he's kind of like a big man, going to post it up. You know, those players really aren't that existent anymore.
How come all the best teams? Okay, the Lakers are a good team that have a good big man. I feel like a lot of the good teams right now don't have.
He stays on the perimeter.
Yeah.
He's shooting threes. He's doing – Dwight Howard's their big man, true big man on that team. And he's just doing putback dunks. You know, you don't – not throwing it into the post that much anymore.
Okay. Like I said, I'm with you.
So they got 22 games left in the regular season. They're winning at least 20.
But, dude, what about the Lakers?
Lakers are good. They cannot match up with the Clippers.
You just mentioned 2 superstars.
Yeah, I'm all for the Lakers.
Lakers have 3.
I like the Lakers way more than I like the Clippers. Clippers are the bad guys.
Kawhi
Kawhi is the bad guy.
I like the Clippers, but I'm worried about the Lakers. Think about it. LeBron.
Yep.
Davis.
Yep.
You gotta think like Kobe's angel soul is like pushing the ball around out there a little bit too.
It's the depth. Where do you go after LeBron and Anthony Davis?
Kobe.
Caldwell Pope?
I think we're gonna see some
Kuzma?
weird, I think we're gonna
Kuzma's a good player.
Kuzma is good. Okay, that's the NBA. So you got Clippers to win it all?
Oh, it's over.
Maryland to win basketball championship?
No.
Who you got winning?
The whole thing?
Yeah.
You gotta think Kansas
Kansas, okay. XFL. DC gonna pull it out?
Still not intrigued.
Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder rematch number 3. Can Deontay get it done?
I like the rematch.
Well, I think Fury hit him in the back of the head. I think there was something off with his vestibular system. I think he deserves a rematch. It's an illegal hit. But I think Fury would pummel him again.
I don't know. I root for Wilder in those fights.
I like Fury. I like Gypsy King. That's such a cool name.
Wilder knocked you out so quickly.
Yeah.
Although we got a good lick on Fury the first time. Couldn't keep him down.
Stood back up. If Fury played basketball, you think he'd be stud 4? If he played since he was a kid, would he be in the NBA?
Yeah, I don't
His
think so.
feet are so quick. Talk about Zubac. Oof. Exact opposite. I think Tyson Fury would do good in the NFL Combine.
Shake Milton, 39 points.
That's good.
Kind of a young guy, came from not much, SMU, then played for like the Delaware G League team, gets an invite. Now Ben Simmons didn't play and scores 39 points.
Who's your favorite for NBA Rookie of the Year?
Oh, that's a good debate. My vote is Zion Williams.
The games you play, you're the best
I agree.
player. But Ja deserves the talk. I mean, I think if
He's averaging what, 29 right now? 29, 7,
Something
and
like
5?
I don't know Ja's numbers, but Ja's put on some highlights that are NBA. I think if there wasn't someone playing at such a high level to make it an argument like Ja, I think it'd give to Zion, no question. But Ja's got his team in the playoffs right now. It's impressive.
Yeah, but they're under 500.
Still, they're
Pelicans have a chance to make the playoffs. There's still potential there.
We'll see what happens.
You know who's really good though? That Pelicans team. They're going to be really good. Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive player. Ever since he moved to New Orleans, you haven't heard much about him, right? Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't heard much from LeVar Ball about his other son. Was it LiAngelo that's going to be potential number 1 draft pick?
LaMelo.
Yeah. Always get him confused. But yeah, you haven't heard much about him. He is incredible. I was watching this game. They were playing the Lakers last night.
Yep.
He threw about 4 3-quarter passes on a dime that went for layups. As soon as the Lakers score, 3-quarters pass, perfect layup every time. And he's super, super fast and plays great defense. I think he's a really good player.
The Big Easy solves all your problems. Okay.
All right.
That's sports. email us in to Will and Mark's HSO. We're going to have some more physical therapy talks coming up. So any questions about physical therapy, send them in. And sports are heating up. Over and out.